Following the State of the Union address, a reporter from New York One named Michael Scotto was interviewing a New York congressman who represents Staten Island. His name is Mike Grimm. Now, Mike Grimm has been under investigation for the past, I think, almost 2 years.
Since 2010, I believe.
Through 2010. And one person who actually was a fundraiser for him, I believe, has been convicted. There's another federal investigation into his fundraising details for his 2010 election. So the reporter, Michael Scotto, does what any good reporter would do. Hey, what's the deal with your investigation? What follows next is shocking. Let's play the actual exchange. He's interviewing him in front of a camera. You'll hear the congressman walk off, and then he will come back, and you won't hear exactly what he's saying.
Some things you can make out.
But you can make out some of it.
He's significantly larger than a reporter.
Oh, yeah.
Hulking over him while he's saying stuff.
This reporter is a little bit like, he looks a little bit like, he's got like a me vibe, but maybe even sort of smaller physically. And then the congressman, to be fair, also has a Staten Island vibe. All right, let's former FBI agent. Go ahead.
And just finally, before we let you go, since we have you here, we haven't had a chance to kind of talk about some of the...
I'm not speaking about anything that's off topic. This is only about the president.
Well, what about...
Thank you.
All right, so Congressman Michael Grimm does not want to talk about some of the allegations concerning his campaign finances. We wanted to get him on camera on that, but he, as you saw, refused to talk about that. Back to you. Why?
Let me be clear to you. You have to do that to me again in 3 years.
I just wanted to ask you. Why? It's a valid question.
I'm telling you. No, you're not man. You're not man.
So he said, he came back, he pushed him around. He said, let me be clear to you. You ever do that to me again, I'll throw you off this effing balcony. And he didn't say effing. And then you can hear the guy saying, like, why? It's a valid question. He goes, no. You don't come at me like that. I will break you like a boy. I don't know what that means. Maybe that's a Staten Island saying or an FBI saying. So here is that same reporter explaining what happened when he was on Morning Joe.
About this guy. Michael, we couldn't hear a lot of what was said there. Walk us through what happened from the time you signed off, pitched it back to the studio, and Congressman Grimm came back and approached you.
Yeah, basically, I had tried to ask him, as you showed, I tried to ask him about the investigation, the federal investigation into fundraising for his 2010 campaign. As you saw, he walked away when I asked him that, and then I signed off, tossed it back to the studio, and he then came back and approached me. And I was taken aback. I have never, I'm used to people giving me pushback for questions, but I was not used to something like that. He basically came over to me, as you saw, and said that if I ever do something like that again, he would throw me from the balcony. And he continued to criticize, saying that I really shouldn't have asked that question without giving him notice, and that he had only really agreed to talk about the State of the Union address.
John Island.
Here's a public service announcement. When a football player coming off a field talks trash talk about another guy who'd been trash talking him, that's just a football player doing trash talk. When a congressman gets up into the face of a reporter asking a legitimate question and threatens to throw them over the ledge down to the marble floor 25 feet below and says, I will break you like a boy, that's a thug. That's just a public service announcement. That's the very definition, I think, of a thug.
And break you like a boy. Something about that terminology. It's just bizarre.
Congressman Grimm, this is Chris Christie. I would like to hire you for my administration.
Yeah.
Oh, this is not Chris Christie. This guy is, I mean, he's not like, he still looks, he's a strong, it's not all verbal like with Chris Christie. He really, when you see the video, he really does actually look like he might
ready to,
at
like,
least
punch
like
the
throw
guy
a
in the
shot
face.
at this guy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying, throw him over the balcony, but
Well, you know what else
definitely
is
throw
interesting?
a shot.
Here's also a pro tip. When you see a tripod and it has a camera on top of it, chances are it could be running, particularly if it was running 0.0002 seconds before.
Actually, another pro tip, we don't even need to go that far, you might want to at least give a brief enough time period for the shot to actually go back to the studio before you physically threaten and intimidate the guy on a live feed on camera.
Also, when you put out your first statement for it, don't not apologize and say the reporter had it coming to him.
Right. Unbelievable.